Well, hello and welcome to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah Sachs, your medium on the go. And tonight, this is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse for our roller coaster yo yo of a stock market, which has been, I've been following it. It's been up and down, and it's been a little bit more up, but I believe at the close, it was they were up 1,000, but then they lost some. They lost, and I think they closed at 400, something like that. And of course, the muskrat is taking a bath, and he's crying like the big baby that he is. So there's trouble in the Oval Office with F drums, Bob. So now you're getting a preview of coming attractions of what a reading I will be doing very soon. But in this one, we want to talk about if the stock market is being manipulated to enrich fotus and his oligarch. So to me, the Ace of Pentacles is about a sudden in reversed, a sudden influx of ill-gotten gains. So I would say that that pretty much sums it up. Uh, so let's see. So apparently he walked back the tariffs on the Chinese. I think that's what he's dangling that carrot for Wall Street. I don't think the Chinese are buying this at all. So he's walking back his, no, the tariffs aren't going to be as much, and then who knows? I think their president Z knows that he could just change it and say, "Oh no, 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 I'm keeping the tariffs and I'm not excluding the electronics because maybe he wants to have another dip in the market for his buddies, of course, for entertainment purposes only." And even Tesla, I think he gained a little bit, but it's really it's that the Tesla is doing really, 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 really badly. So this man is so hated worldwide that it's no wonder. So I want to do, so what I'm going to do is this is on Wednesday evening. So what I'm going to do is this will be coming out early in the morning before the market opens. And I wanted to wait until the market had closed and I had a chance to kind of catch up on what it was doing. So, okay, so we're going to read on is this done on purpose? Let's see what the cards say about this. Will there be consequences? There's got to be consequences for this stuff sometime. And what will tomorrow bring or the future bring? Because I know it's going to stay up, but it's going to go down, or maybe it's going to be up and down, but sort of ending positively, maybe, who knows. So I just want to see what the possibilities are about it, about what it's going to be doing, because, he may pull some stuff to make it crash again so that it's for the profit making, but we're going to look into that with the cards. And of course, for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so it is one of the big topics, but there's a lot of big topics going on right now that I'll probably be getting back to just to see the shift in energy from, I wish I could say, from one moment to the next. Okay, so, alrighty, let's put this down. Okay, so let's see where they're at with the indicator now. So we have the Empress in reverse. So kind of makes you wonder if Russia is involved in the stock market. They see they're pretty desperate for, this is the thing, is they're pretty desperate for money, and the card is with Russia, the Empress being in reverse. She's not this abundantly opulent nation like she was before 2022. And she's in pretty bad shape. So this hadn't occurred to me. So I'm wondering if, not that Russia's in on this because it's his policies that's doing it, but are they getting the heads up so that they can invest? I think it's an interesting question that honestly had not occurred to me until that card came up. So we got Mother Russia. So okay, so we're gonna see the underlying energy of that, which is, oh boy, the real pity pot, really, that this whole thing is of their own making. They didn't have to go through this. If he had just kept his grubby paws off a sovereign nation, but I think that what this tells me, he's been on the big pity pot with the toddler and probably flattering the hell out of him, like his everything from his makeup to his business genius. So, and so the whole thing is that they're playing victim here, but the Eight of Swords is all about self-imposed victimhood. So I don't know if it's enough to totally enrich them, but I'm thinking, I know it's putting money into the pockets of some oligarchs, but could be some Russian oligarchs. It could be, oh, this is interesting. It could be some of them on an individual level to get some of their riches back. This whole thing is so complex here. This is kind of took me for a loop. Okay, so underneath this all was, oh, they got the message with lightning rapidity. Very soon that this was going to plan 140 some 3% tariff, and now he's yanking it back to maybe 10% or something. So that, with not only the Russians and the whole the whole world market, I can't even believe they're buying this stuff. But I would say I'm saying for entertainment and for insider trader purposes, they could have gotten, because this is kind of in the past, so they could have gotten that message pretty quick to buy last week, and then then I think they may be waiting for the signal to sell. I would say that if it dipped a little bit, that might be the signal for them to get out while they still made a bundle. Oh, but that'll depend on how greedy they are. Okay, lots of stuff happening. This is really pointing to the fact that not only did he give our markets the head up, but the world is listening, and of course Russia's good. But I would say he's communicated with his tech bro oligarchs, and I believe that this looks like he's passed it on to his Russian oligarchs to really hedge his bets. So the Eight of Wands is saying, so yeah, they're all hitting the mark, they're hitting the target, but the poor slob, with their 401ks is going to be like good one day and then awful the next, maybe by Monday. Who knows? Well, I don't even think the best psychic in the world can tell you that. So underneath this coming up is, oh, here we have the world in reverse, which is the cycle is not completed. It's not done. That tells me this is going to continue. This game is going to continue. It doesn't look too good, but see, the thing is that what I've said, this philosophy that I've developed, is that these people that have gotten away with murder, they get a little too comfy and a little bit too arrogant, and I really believe that what this is saying is that this is going to be repeated, and so which will lead us on to our next thing of could there be consequence, but it's starting to point in that direction. There's only so long you can get away with this stuff. So opposing all of this is, oh, here we go. Wowee. You would think I picked these, but I didn't pick these. Are the Seven of Swords. So this actually is a theft. It is a theft. I mean, I think that these people were saying, well, I got a hot tip, which is just a nice, fancy way of saying insider trade. I got a tip. I'm so brilliant. I am walking away with the spoils. In this photo, which is interesting, in the other deck, they have the tents and all of that stuff. But in this one, there's nothing showing that he's going to get caught except that gate. That gate is going to close. I think they're making hay while the sun shines, and some of them know that maybe the gate's going to close. But if it does, they're trapped inside this property, which means, I think, which is pointing to, I'm agreeing with Linda G, the Comanche psychic, in that, you know, they're gonna get caught. They're not only, you know, it's like the tech bros, the Russians now, which I don't know why that hadn't occurred to me. So the tech bros, the Russians, and let's not forget the hillbilly caucus, hillbilly MAGA caucus in Congress. And they really did not keep this a secret, but I'm thinking, oh, large Marge, you know, so this is pointing towards, yeah, it looks like that this is criminal. This is what the cards are saying for entertainment purposes. Only then on the conscious level of all of this energy is a sense of loss. What this is telling me is that they knew that they were losing. So I think to make it up to them, they've been getting some hot tips. So this is part of the energy of greed, that they're probably mourning a loss. It doesn't mean much to them. But they have to be told when to turn around to look at the full cups. So, wowie. This is just not only, since we've made this international, not only the worst of the greed, it's just like an international cult of greediness. Subconsciously, the King of Swords. Okay, there is that fear. He is the lawyer. He is the judge. This isn't justice, but this was kind of like my Jack Smith card. Hello, Jack. And, you know, this is on an internet, and he now, I believe, is, intuitively, I feel as though he's back in The Hague or doing something in the international crimes. So that I think subconsciously they're afraid of that sword falling. That there are people in the international courts that are, and in our own legal system with the insider trading, that may be keeping an eye on it. So there could be some nervousness because they know that this looms. They've probably had their buddies who have spent some time in the joint because they got caught with insider trading. I think Martha Stewart, I can't even imagine what she's thinking right now. Hers is like peanut bubkas compared to all of this. So, okay, so that's what we have there. So they're getting nervous. They're getting nervous. So maybe this little thing isn't going to last. But then I think the thing is the greed conflicting with the nervousness. Okay, so presently we've got, the Magician. This is working now. The magic of them acquiring these riches, it's working for right now. But who knows how long it'll last. This guy could tip over and go reverse. I want to do a little clarifier just to see what could make, because I feel as though he looks like he's sitting down solid, but I somehow am getting an energetic, download that this is a very precarious thing. So let's see, to clarify what could topple him over and make him go reverse. Oh, Here we go, the Two of Wands. The Two Wands International. Like, this whole thing is very interesting because I hadn't thought of that. That's what's so amazing about these cards. With Russia being the indicator of the present energy, is that the thing that could topple this over is in the foreign, maybe in the foreign markets, that something isn't going to jibe. Russians getting caught. So this is interesting. So this puts the Magician in a precarious position. So in the immediate future, we have, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have the Six of Wands in reverse, which means this all looks good, but there could be some losses. There could be some losses, and we're dealing with someone that's so unhinged that maybe some rotten tips could be given out to teach to keep a few people in line, which I hadn't thought of before, and that there could be some losing with this. So this is a very to me this is a really dangerous game, and it really does look as though the cards are saying insider trading, like, duh, So then we have a little bit further, and further into the future, a little further down the road, we have the Two of Cups, which is the partnerships and the people that are giving this information. So okay, one of my guides just said it's like he is rewarding people who stick with him and who are loyal. And of course, because this is so illegal, they're not going to go running through their offices saying, oh, guess what? I just heard from, the Trump folks that he's going to call for tariffs, or he's going to end them, and that the market's going to do this or that. No, this is something that's on the hush hush. So only some certain people, and it's like greed too. They wouldn't even want their mother to cash in because it's less for them. But this is the partnership of those that are loyal and that are giving him the love and all of that nonsense. Okay, so we have that now. In the hopes and fears time, we have, the Hierophant in reverse. So the hope is that in this unconventional way, they're going to get rich. But there's also a fear of, like, do we really want to collapse the whole system? Because that means that in the end, we lose too. So they're hoping that, they can go against the establishment of the, hierarchy of the money market and all that sort of thing. But they don't really want it destroyed either. So there's your hopes and fears. And so the outcome of this will be, I shudder to think, the conclusion is the Page of Cups. Welcome to the titty baby card, okay? To me, this is probably the Elon Musk is going to be the big crybaby of this. You can see this already. This is okay. This is like if the Orange Menace needs to throw people under the bus, maybe to save his own hide, he's more than willing. I would say that he could betray a lot of these people, and when they come back to him crying, he'll say, oh, I didn't tell you to buy, and I didn't tell you to sell, and this and that. So he could pull I don't know exactly how that, but he could pull a fast one where you will be seeing a lot of oligarch tears, and a lot of them will come from these tech bros who have like no life experience. I remember the days when I worked at a convention hotel in Seattle. We did a lot of Microsoft functions. I'm saying for like 8 years. And these people don't have a life. They're like really weird people. They would come in with their backpacks and their laptops, and it was like the parties that Bill Gates would throw for them, to get them off of that campus and all this sort of thing. But they really didn't have a life. It was like a real weird geekdom. The campus was geekdom. And they all were very kind of strange. They just didn't seem like the people outside of that world. So there will be big identity crises with some of these tech bros. I know they're not spending it on their wardrobe or bath products. That's from the ones I knew, that's for sure. So what the cards here say is, yeah, there is a whole lot of subterfuge, and there's a whole lot going on in the international scene that we don't know about. And here we have his Mother Russia, and it tells me that the oligarchs that he wants to get into his circle to do some favors, and probably Putin and all this sort of thing, could be getting the heads up about this. So, wowie. That's what the cards say, and I'm not going to argue with the cards. So that was fairly apparent, like halfway through the reading. So we want to see, are there going to be any consequences? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have gotten away with this sort of thing, but I think more people have gotten caught than gotten away with it. I think the people that get away with it are the ones that do it like, it's like, hitting the jackpot at the casino and then you get the hell out of there. I think those are the people that actually get away. They get the big score and they say, okay, we're not going to get greedy, or maybe we'll leave the casino and go to the racetrack, but we're not going to stay here, because eventually the smart ones know eventually you get caught. So but I want to see in this respect if there will be consequences and what they will be. So I pretty much am going to start to shrink up the readings a little bit. So will there be consequences to all of this? Hopefully soon, because this is really messing with the little guy's money. It's really too bad that, when you're, if you're with the Teamsters Union, or you work for a big corporation with the 401ks and the pensions, if the rank and file and the employees could have a say about the money investment and say, look, I know we stand a chance of not making as much, but if you could keep it out of the stock market, or at least go with the blue chips, but maybe do the less risky stuff, but they don't have a say with that. That's the big problem. And so consequences seem to fall on the innocent parties that have no control on these investments. Okay, so I'm going to use a rider deck, and I'm going to use my new After Tarot, which I think is one of the more interesting decks I've ever owned. Okay, so, alrighty, so let's see. Are there going to be some consequences? I mean, it's like, are they going to get caught? The past reading was kind of leading into that, so the question is, maybe are they going to get caught soon enough before the world economy is down the crapper? So as our indicator, we have, the Knight of Cups in reverse. A lot of people caught into this whole thing. And I would say maybe the Marjorie Taylor Greens, or, the tech bros, or the Russian oligarchs, the American oligarchs, they kind of have this romanticized view of like we're getting so rich and really not thinking and not being realistic and thinking about the consequences of all of this. So here we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. And I would also say, since the cups are in reverse, it's like we're not dealing with an incredibly mentally stable crowd. And just like we have cabinet members that are involved in drugs and alcohol, sure, why not these? The grandiosity of the riches is it's a big part of addiction. As I've said before, I remember in the 80s walking in lower Manhattan at noon. Oh my God, the Chase Plaza was, which is a nice kind of park area with the big buildings. So that was kind of like the biggest supermarket of drugs. Only it wasn't like the guys from the hood in their hip hop clothes. It was the guys in the three-piece suits taking little baggies of white powder out of their alligator briefcases. So I think that this is kind of, and there is a lot of insider trading. So the drugs and insider trading, they kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so then we got the Knight of Cups in reverse. Let's see that, and they get careless and sloppy too. So the energy of that is okay. And this is interesting too because these people are not standing under the Four of Wands canopy. This is kind of like the breaking up, and when I see this in reverse, it's always like the breakup of partnerships, the divorces, the breaking of the engagement, but they were taking their pennies and going home. So this is telling me there is a hierarchy of people involved in this kind of scheme, and it's I think there are some little people at the bottom of the food chain that may be getting screwed over. I mean, of course, the money they've made, I wouldn't mind having that at all. But I mean, okay, so these people that are going to be getting, yeah, that there's this also is telling me that part of the breakup may be doing some flipping. Because see, all these people, they're getting out of Dodge. So, okay, so let's see. The underlying energy is this, and this may come from within. Who knows if they, oh, okay. Our Five of Wands in reverse. If this is upright, this is after the conflict, and they're thinking of negotiating. It's in reverse. They're going to start fighting again. So in fighting, taking a little bit of a breather now because their bank accounts are getting filled up. And let's see here. Oh yes, we have the partnership of the wounded warriors, and these people have gotten up and lived to fight another day. But in reverse, there's not too much of that fight left in them. It's kind of like we're covered with too many wounds to be patched up. So it's interesting because all of these are involving different people. So this is telling me that at some lower level of this, there may be people, and all they need to do is be betrayed and lose and see if, feel the SEC nipping at their heels, and that they will sing. It's kind of like, we're tired, we're done. We're going to save our own necks, okay? And then we have coming up in the future, the Hierophant. Again, the Hierophant in reverse. And realizing that they can't beat the system, even if it's crumbling. It's too big. So this is telling me the consequences are people ratting other people out, which is fascinating. So then we have here opposition, pondering the options and seeing there were people running out of options. That's very, very interesting. In the past, we have, oh boy, been waiting for him to come. in the past is being really chained to the devil. And in this spread, they really don't see a way out. I mean, they could see a way out, but yet they don't see a way out yet of getting hooked into this whole thing. So this is sort of like starting to consider things, but maybe realizing how deep they are into this. So in the present, we have, okay, this is the loyal knight, the hard-working person. To me, this is the 401k and the union pension people who, this is their money saved for their retirement, who really don't have a say of this. They just don't. And, as the horse stops, he looks at his money and is pondering and saying, I can't go. Look how still the horse is. I can't go anywhere with this. I can't. I'm looking at this and seeing that I have no choice. I'm at the mercy of this. So coming up in the not too distant future, then we have the Fool, which is those with the means are willing to take a chance and leap off the cliff. Now, what this is saying is that some of them will succeed, but it is still a risk. And what I fear that this is also, if it were in reverse, which it isn't, if it were in reverse, I would say that it represents this person taking whatever little money they have and deciding they're going to try to do this stuff with the stock market themselves, which is a foolish thing because you're dealing with the inside trader he doesn't know what he's going to do the next minute, so why should they? So a little further out in the future, we have, we have the Hermit. Oh, this is interesting, an interesting follow-up, because if people try to do this on their own, see, he got the snake in the path, but that snake could end up biting him. That's he took a big risk in grabbing that, and so that really puts people in a very bad light. So of course, if someone's told that they heard it from higher up or whatever, about this, one thing could lead to another, which could be sort of like a chain of things. I think I need to pull some more cards as we go further out into the future. Betrayal and heartbreak. It's going to be a big dog-eat-dog world. There's going to be tons of betrayal, and this is telling me that this is like people ratting each other out as they decide to take another risk, because they could end up with the money, but they could also end up in prison. So that's what the Fool has to say. But this is in the national thing. This is the traitor card, the betrayer card. So what could happen is that someone could just betray the higher up. Someone could say they were in a meeting with Trump and they turned their phone recorder on or whatever, and they know that either he or someone pretty high up on the food chain is involved. So this is getting to be the bigger time here. So we have that, and then we have concluding is pondering what to do, and to say this whole thing has been fishy. It's almost kind of like being in a Ponzi scheme. I think this has this whole kind of an energy, and kind of contemplating about, and it's kind of on an emotional level, and kind of contemplating, like, if I want to make a new beginning, maybe I'm going to have to give up the potential of riches and spill them. Some of this is telling me there will be consequences because there's going to be bean spilling. Now, if a humble tarot card reader, who actually learned about how to do this crooked stuff in the market in the 8th grade, come on. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out, is seeing this. I mean, I almost can't even believe that they're doing this on such a level, because it is becoming obvious. It may be for entertainment purposes only, but it is becoming fairly obvious. So we're going to see what is going to be, when I say what will tomorrow bring, I mean that in the spirit of, what are the markets going to do? I have no clue. That's what I'm going to say. It's up to you, cards. I'm going to see what you have to say. So I'm going to do a little shuffle here. I mean, they're going to go down again, but the thing is, when will that happen? I think what I've seen in the most elementary way is, okay, yesterday was woo, up and then close. Today was like woo, up and then like but still ending higher. That's my very financially sophisticated analysis of this. So I'm going to do this with, I've got some time. I've been moving pretty fast, so I think maybe I'll do a similar reading that I did just now. Instead of, I was thinking of doing that 4 to 6 card thing, but I think I'm going to do a little bit more. So, shuffle these guys up here. That's what I like about this. Is one of my easy shuffle decks. Okay, so. Alrighty, so what does tomorrow bring? Okay. So they did close high, but not like yesterday's astronomical thing, which maybe a thing that he's kind of, I think his rhetoric is sending signals. I really think there's, it's like, I remember seeing the movie about 8 zillion times of Nightmare Alley, when Tyrone Power and the young Electra girl do their nightclub thing, and they have these signals. It's like the cold reading. They have these signals so he can do the psychic readings with the people writing stuff down on papers, and it's very sophisticated. I'm getting chills. Could he be doing that? And I don't think he, I think that maybe there are people with him that have been probably devising this kind of system of giving out the signals so that the markets can be manipulated. That's interesting. One of my favorite film noirs. Okay, so alrighty, so what will the future bring? So where it's at now is, justice. The future's bringing in the law. That's telling me that maybe that's why it wasn't so dramatic today, because somebody's smelling the law. In this case, it's like the SEC and the courts and all of this sort of thing. Interesting. So I got to use the After Tarot as my little second deck. Wow, that's interesting. That maybe the changes won't, and she's balancing the scales. Maybe the changes won't be so dramatic. Okay, so here we have, the Ace of Cups here. Yeah, it's getting very emotional. Very, very emotional, because they don't want to get caught. I mean, they're just making it hands over fist. They don't want to get caught. And they got their hearts into it. And this is funny because of, with the 3 of Swords with the heart. So this is maybe before the, the swords hit. So there's emotional stuff going on. That's not good because slips are made when emotions come into, whether it's extreme joy, you just want to brag. I think that's what Marjorie did, was that she started bragging to people about she was over the moon with all the money that she made. It's that. The joy can be your enemy too. So let's see. Underlying thing. Oh, the Hermit. The Hermit, I would say in this case is that, being alone, is not a really good idea. I think these people are afraid to be acting alone because of the whole conspiratorial thing. So I'm seeing in this kind of like a lot of fears. It's kind of like having to stick with the unsavory people for now. So because this could be fear of getting caught. Okay, so, oh boy. But never underestimate the power of illusions and delusions. So there may be a nagging fear, but easily that's dissipated with, but look how rich you're getting. Just we'll let this ride a little bit longer, but this is dangerous to do. See, the guy's got his little pet and thinking, oh my goodness, he's thinking, yeah, that's you don't handle animals like that because that thing is gonna bite him. But he's just too lost in his greed and illusions and stuff like that. So that's kind of like saying, whoa, you really are setting yourself up, because there's I'm a little afraid, and fantasy land comes in to kind of quell the fears, but then that it gets more dangerous with these folks. So let's see. Oh, so here we have our two wounded guys, but what this tells me is that they're kind of helping each other to get up and fight another day, which is not a good idea. This is saying that they're going to go into battle again, when maybe this is telling them that they should stop, but they're not stopping each other. Okay, so in opposition to this, we have the Sun. The Sun, it's like they're lying to themselves. I mean, it's quite apparent, as I say, the sun peeking through the clouds. It never goes away. But they, they're trying to put the clouds over the sun and fool themselves. This is what I'm saying is like, this is telling me that this could come tumbling down. This is what this is telling me, is that there are people that may be deciding to stay in, which is dangerous, staying in the illegality of the whole thing. With all of this together, it's going to make the market a very mixed bag and maybe not as predictable. He could say, I'm going to do away with tariffs altogether, and if anybody believes that, they're crazy. And he could say all kinds of things, but some people are going to do one thing, and other people are going to be, when they should get out of the game, they're going to stay in, which is what this is all about. So it's very confusing. This could make it more volatile, like, woo, up and down, like the roller coaster at the amusement park. Okay, so in the past, we have, oh boy, the weakening of the economy. This is just so bad on so many different levels. Even if the market goes sky high again, what she's saying, it isn't going to last. It isn't going to last. So it's coming back to, these people don't know when to get out, stay in, whatever. And that's going to make the markets go crazy. It's going to be like, who knows, maybe at 9 they're off and running. By lunchtime it's like 1929, and then a rally at 3. I mean, who knows? Okay, so coming into the present, again, and I shuffled these up pretty well. Losing, there are going to be people that are going to be losing. So I would say it could take a dip. It could be taking a dip. It could be in the process of taking a dip. But we know that doesn't last too long. So then what comes after that? Okay, drum roll. What comes after that? Oh, here we go. Two of Pentacles here. Two of Pentacles, that people are still balancing this and trying to figure it out. And this is like going to the bloody racetrack. I mean, that's really what it is. It's like you might as well go to the racetrack, basically. At least you'll only mess up your own economy and not the world. So we have all the other countries and the ship that are they're teetering just as we are. And this guy is just playing games with the money. Back and forth, up and down. The rainbow is the illusion that if I keep going, I'm going to get rich. So not only are we fooling with our stock market, but the foreign markets, they're just like listing out very dangerously out in the ocean. So this is people still trying to game the system. And if they don't have the inside scoop from the top, they're going to go speculating. So in more the long distance future is, this is interesting because this is telling me that there could be some very strong leader that steps in and says, get a grip. I know what's going on. You people are crazy. And maybe some will listen to him and maybe some won't. I don't think it's not a leader in the United States, that's for sure. It could be the Canada guy. It could be, who knows? Who knows? But I think, at least in their country, would say, get a grip, people. The game is rigged. And maybe a lot of people will listen. So the outcome of this is, oh, here we have. That Hermit's been coming up for a while. People will be in it kind of trepidly, but the wiser ones will shine the light and look for the serpent in the path, because that is going to be, that could be the toxic thing. They're saying like, okay, it's low and these things could go up, but I think it could come back to bite me, and wisdom prevails. So I'm just going to tippy toe around that sucker and stay out of it. So what this is telling me is that people are going to start to get nervous and start to get out of it no matter what it's doing, and that there is some leadership that would say, you don't want to play this game. You don't want to play this game. So this is vastly impacting the world markets too. But the sun in reverse is saying you can try to hide the truth. You can try to hide the truth, but it can't. And this, that I think that once Lady Justice gets involved with this, it's kind of like all bets are off. That what this is telling me, there's going to be such a crackdown on, this is going to lead to a major crackdown. I wish I could tell you how soon. I don't think it's going to be a real long time, but I'm kind of looking into maybe in the summertime, because there's a lot of wands, and that's an element of fire and sun. And we had the Sun card and the King of Wands, which the King and Queen of Wands are kind of like summertime cards. So I think what this is saying, the markets will just continue up and down, up and down. But I think I'm gathering that some people are going to get real, that have been playing the game are going to be getting skittish. So that's going to be sort of like all bets are off as to far as to any announcements he makes to maybe manipulate the market. But I also feel as though there is a nightmare alley, nightclub, little system going on to send like the verbal thing, like the verbal clues that are being sent out. And this could be, with Russia, who knows? But I mean, when I do a reading, I tell people I'm not a financial advisor, but I personally would not go into any high risk stuff. Keep it in the low interest, more, stable stuff, because especially now, what this is telling me is that they're all playing a very dangerous game, and that if you're not really on the super duper oligarch inside of this, you're going to lose. You're going to lose, and the rest of the world is going to lose. So I would say the markets are going to be a big mess. But I also think that there are going to be some people caught. There will be some people snitching. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on with this. And I think that, seeing the King of Swords, my Jack Smith card is saying the international people are keeping an eye on this too. So it should be interesting. I call this like Wall Street soap opera time. So with that, I'm going to say bye-bye.